I like that better. All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to my super surprise mystery AMA. This is Dr. David. I'm just kind of hanging out online, seeing what's going on in the world. And so let me get my chat set up here so I can see people. And finally, I got this figured out, kind of, sort of. Oh, so let's see here. No, we are not made for kids. Move this over here and make it a little bigger, maybe. There's David and Goodheart and Susan. How's everybody doing? Let me see here. I'm using a different computer today, so things are a little bit odd. I'm still streaming through Zoom, but I'm actually only interacting. Billion Doubloon says, aloha, Doc. Aloha back. All right, well, the kids are at the swimming pool right now, and I decided to just kind of jump on and see how everybody's doing on your, is it Memorial Day weekend? Hard to say. Let me make this bigger here. And no, that's not going to work. So anyway, I got the chat going. So if you have questions, is there a Zoom link? Amar, there is a Zoom link. But I'm not using it right now. I'm just streaming this simply through YouTube. Is that a snakeskin shirt? Yes, Sean, it is a snakeskin shirt. Let's see here. How I can try to figure out how to position this so I actually look like I'm looking at you. How to stop being codependent from my ex. Your fastest, in terms of codependence, I'm going to go with the old standby here, regression. Regress to cause. Oh my God, he said my name. Of course I said your name. You're on my event. What did you expect? That I wasn't going to answer you? Right. Susan says, I taught someone to spin the other day. It was pretty awesome. Jan Nasis says, I use it to build rapport. Oh, Jan, oh, I'm sorry, I missed what you said. The echo technique is so powerful. Yes, and the longer I'm doing this work, the more powerful I realize that the echo technique actually is. There is so much power in this simple concept, this simple idea of giving somebody their very own words back to them. I can't even begin. I mean, I can't tell you the doors it's opened, you know, and the changes it's allowed me to help people achieve by just mirroring back what the nervous system projects. Sahib says, really a long time listener from Pakistan. Welcome from Pakistan. Glad you could join us. So Susan is saying, David, son, do you need to help you regress to cause? Always. Susan says, always regress to cause. Zena Ortiz says, David, you are my hero, and I've used some of your techniques on my clients with successful results. Thank you. How would you address resistance? I think that really depends on what kind of resistance you're dealing with. First and foremost, I always divide resistance into 3 categories. So you have resistance 1, and 3. And then, of course, 4. So there's really only 2 reasons why people resist going into trance. They don't want to, or they don't want to. The question becomes, why don't they want to? And that can be distilled down into 2 primary categories of I don't want to. They either are having trouble understanding what you want them to do in such a way that they can do it, or B, they're afraid. Almost every other reason a person might have for generating resistance is going to come down to those 2 things. Could be a language barrier, could be a rapport barrier, could be fear, could be insecurity, could be a head full of mythology surrounding what you're asking them to do. Like if you're using the word hypnosis, for example, a lot of people have a head full of baggage about what hypnosis is and what it isn't. And so I would call it anything else. So again, how you address resistance is going to go back to what kind of resistance they're manifesting. People inherently resist anything that challenges, and this goes under the threat category, by the way. They inevitably challenge anything that threatens what they believe, how they think they'll see themselves as a result of what's going on. They tend to resist anything that threatens how they believe other people will see them. So if you ask them to do something or reveal something that would cause other people to view them differently or judge them negatively, people will resist asking to do what you want them to do. And finally, people resist anything that threatens what they believe to be true, with a capital T. And so those 3 categories of resistance are things that you'll often encounter. The other one is one that's more organically hardwired into us, and that's called reactance. A reactance is what I call the fuck you factor, or the pushback that we receive anytime we feel a threat to our sense of personal freedom of choice or autonomy. And for Zena, I would say that's what we would call unconscious resistance. Remember, the unconscious mind only resists when it senses a threat, when it senses that the process you're asking it to engage in is somehow dangerous, either metaphorically or literally. And as far as the sense of danger is concerned, the unconscious mind really doesn't make a distinction between something that is metaphorically dangerous and something that is literally dangerous. So Yoshi says, you seem cool, confident, and in control. How do I get even 5% of what you have and overcoming my low self-esteem? Start with the Identity by Design protocols. If you go to our YouTube channel and you type in how to get rid of fear and become unstoppable, I think it's the Unstoppable Confidence video series, which is for free here on YouTube. I would start there. Then once you've gone through that process, find a way to get into to learn the Identity by Design silo system, which is available on our website. Start with Gray Room, Magic Frame, and Spinning, and you're on your way. But I think the core of what you need is going to distill down to utilizing the Identity by Design silo. So you get Real World Hypnosis or Secrets of Personality Transformation or the Self Mastery Supercharger are all courses that have the Identity by Design silo in them. And those will help you become the person you want to be. Okay, Jennifer Thomas says, great channel. How would you address an insecure female boss who is out to get you? How would I address an insecure female boss who is out to get you? Well, first and foremost, I would figure out what makes them feel good about themselves and feed that part. Okay, going with Echo Technique, criterion, values, and 3 magic questions is probably going to go a long way in moving you from the threat category or the threat box to the ally box. After that, I would start to work with, aligning yourself with that person, finding out what their criterion values are, what their internal bonding checklist is, and aligning yourself with it in such a way that they recognize that you're aligning with what they want. Okay. You are not going to logically convince this person that you are not a threat. You're going to have to get them on an emotional level. And to do that, you need the emotional bonding checklist. Ooh, we have somebody that just jumped the line. Had date last night, used Echo Technique, 3 magic questions. We started to hook up. Then out of nowhere, she went super cold, never happened. Bit confused. Oh, I totally get what happened, Alex. What happened was, we call that last minute resistance, or LMR. What happened, either you became incongruent and it set up a red flag, or she was so attracted so fast, she was a little bit surprised, a little bit shocked, and she just instinctively pulled back because she wasn't so used to getting that attracted, that connected to somebody that fast. Those are the two biggest fat variables that you're going to see when things are proceeding really, really smoothly, and all of a sudden they go cold on you. Either you did something that triggered a defense mechanism, or she was so attracted so quickly that it scared her and she pulled back. Not right now. Later. My daughter is asking for a keto bomb. You can have a keto bomb later, sweetie. After dinner. After dinner. Now I have to talk to my fans on YouTube. Thank you. Okay. Ahmed Sandoval says, okay, Dr. David, I've been using color breathing and magic frame to improve my performance in social scenarios. Any tips for this? Well, my tips would be based on what you're actually doing or what you're actually using right now. If you can give me a better understanding of what you're doing, then I can probably help you a little bit more. Let's see here. Anthony Gonzalez is big fan. Thank you for the content. You are very welcome, Anthony. Glad you like it. Zena says unconscious resistance 2. Yes. Let's see here. Real quick, going back to Jennifer, does that help you in terms of a strategy to employ with your boss? Let's see here. Vishnu Reddy says, hi, David. I'm your longtime follower and recently purchased Killer Influence, Volume 1 on NLP Power. Amazing content. I am blown away by the results, and I also need notes if you can provide PDF. Vishnu, if you need the manual for Killer Influence, reach out to Stephanie at nlppower.com or call her at 858-282-4663 and ask her for the manual, and she will email you the manual for that. So you should automatically get that when you enroll in the course. Alex P says, thanks. It was the first date, so it could be the second one. Very good. Excellent. Susan says, kids are back. Yes, they are. So Dave Sun says, sorry, not sure if you answered this. How would I go about getting rid of a fetish that is causing dysfunction in my life? At Dave Sun, fastest way to do it is regress to cause. Regress to cause and replace the current fetish with something that's more useful, something more desirable. Stimulate massive oxytocin release during that process, and you should be able to overwrite the fantasy or the fetish. Dynamite Disco Biscuits. Hey, it's Dr. David Snyder, and the reason I got into hypnosis and my language reading. Awesome. Right. Okay. Cool. Well, thank you, Dynamite. I'm glad you're here. Let me hold on. We got you starting. The chat's starting to fly back by a little fast, so I'm trying to catch up. Yoshi says, what is the single best technique to stand up to a control freak? State control. Know your boundaries and be able to state your boundaries and push back against your boundaries or defend your boundaries in a socially acceptable way. State control. You're going to find that the vast majority of work that you do is going to come down to state control. It's going to come down to the ability to enter into and maintain any psychological or emotional state at will. This is why we spend so much time on it in our private trainings and our live trainings. You won't see a lot of it publicly available on YouTube because that's kind of one of our superpowers. And so and that's what separates, I mean, the techniques that we give for free are obviously awesome, right? I mean, you've proven that for yourselves. The stuff we do behind closed doors is even more amazing. So state control is something that we keep very close, no pun intended, close to the vest. But it is the fuel. It's the fusion reactor that drives all of the other techniques. If you think the techniques themselves are powerful, when you have the state control aspect down, they become truly unstoppable. In fact, you don't even need half those techniques most of the time once you have the state control down. So hopefully that helps you. Again, I don't mean to tease you. It's just there's certain boundaries that we have to maintain in terms of public content versus the content that people raise their hand for. So Anthony Gonzalez says, yes, awesome. Thanks for the shout out. I'm going for my doctor in physical therapy. I've been practicing as a physical therapy assistant for 5 years. Anyone watching, trust this man, every word, it works. Thank you, Anthony. Dave Sun says, thanks. Daniel Rodriguez, thoughts on reducing emotional reactivity to finances, especially day trading? Yes. We're going to go back to the transformational trio first and foremost. Remember that the reason that you have strong emotional responses to trading is because of the way you've coded your connection to money. So the first thing you want to do is point to where you feel it, reach out and touch it, shrink the pictures of you losing down to the size of a postage stamp or even smaller, move them behind you. That will cause you to become disconnected from the sense of loss or fear of loss. And once that is out of the way, you are much better able to make good unemotional decisions based on the principles for trading that you've learned. I work with a lot of people who are day trading, and that's by and large the biggest barrier to being successful is getting your emotions, especially your fear of loss and loss aversion, out of the way. So great book for that, by the way. It's called The Power of Bad. Again, it's not specifically geared towards traders, but it has become one of the new required readings for all the members of Planet David. If you haven't gotten it yet, please get it, listen to it, read it, underline it, take notes, and start doing some of the drills and applying some of your identity by design techniques towards dissolving the the negativity bias inherent in your nervous system. And you're going to find you're going to make a lot better decisions a lot faster. Let's see here. Fly Girls Manifesting. Can I use color wheeling to change a memory? I think you're talking about color spinning or color breathing. And the answer is yes. You can change it. You can affect it. You can do all kinds of cool things with it. Honesty Planic says, is it worth to practice semen retention? I think so. I think it's a worthwhile practice. I think anytime that you can maintain your sexual energy, cultivate it, and recirculate it throughout the body, you're going to make the body healthier over time. That's my personal bias. There are some scientific reports that say it doesn't matter. There are scientific reports that say it does. So when I see these contrasting reports, I put them all aside and I go with my gut. I go with what seems to work. I've been practicing retention type practices for most of my life, and I think they've only helped me, quite frankly. So I'm an advocate of that. Certainly, you need to follow your own intuition and your own insights and your own experiences when it comes to something like that. Mihir says, unwanted fetish, check to see if you have parasites. I'm not sure where that's coming from, but put that out there. Amar Ahmed says, any tips for better enhancing my visualization of attending your in-person classes? I've been filling it in with as many vague code, lighting the brain up like, well, it sounds like you're doing the right thing. Just keep doing what you're doing. Robert Lim, David, which is the best method to rewire unconscious associations, not traumatic, to be useful for me, like associating myself with good archetypes instead of other people? Well, first thing I would do, this is for Rob, at Rob, I would use the identity by design silo. I would focus on magic circle and pillars of power. And there's also a technique called the garden, which is an optional identity by design component. Those are the techniques that would probably help you to do that. David, when's your next live event? Next live event is actually in July. It's vibrational healing. Let me pull up my events calendar. And vibrational influence is July 9th through the 11th in Las Vegas, Nevada. Let's see here. Samudrika, hey, yes, hi. Fixate and Dr. Snyder, what induction do you use in hypnosis online? I use what I call modified 4 magic bullets or the safe place induction. How to control anger. Posture and breathing. Point to where you feel it, reach out and touch it, focus on something else. Crick Zoli says, if I understand correctly, regress cause is hypnosis like trance. Sorry asking you, but I'm kind of new. Yeah, Crick, if you are new to hypnosis, new to our channel, then you absolutely want to reach out to our office and schedule a consult. Regression stuff is not something you should be trying to do on your own. It's too intricate. There's too many moving parts. And it's very, very difficult, even for highly trained people, to be the driver and the passenger at the same time. Alessandro, quick question. In front of girls and socially, I choke under pressure. Is the answer to this question state control? Absolutely. It's absolutely, actually goes to 2 things. It goes to, at Alessandro here. I spelled that wrong. Here we go. There's 2 things you want to focus on: state control and frame control. So not only do you have to control your emotions in that situation, you have to control the meaning you assign to a person in your world. Most of the time when we find ourselves being overwhelmed with approach anxiety, nervousness, fear of rejection, it's because we're making the person that we're seeking to talk to too important in our world. And that goes to the frame you're in rather than the emotions you're in. So they're 2 interconnecting phenomena. Frame control and state control are intimately connected. But at the end of the day, it's about the way that frame makes you feel. So if you can control your state, you're much better able to control the frame. So Sharmi says, there's a YouTube video where you induce, if that's the right word, orgasm. Okay. There's a YouTube video where you induce, if that's the right word, orgasm moment and take her through the gray room. Which course can we find that, and how is it better than coming to the normal room? That's a really great question, Sharmi. You can find it in a course called Erotic Hypnosis, Sensuality Enhancement. There's also a course I put out called Erotic Hypnosis Made Easy. And I think that one is called Beyond Orgasm. And the power in that particular technique comes from the release and the channeling of sexual energy. Sexual energy is the closest thing to nuclear power of the human body. It is one of the powers that goes directly to your ability to make money in the world, to affect any change you want, to rejuvenate the body. That's why so many religions and so many metaphysical disciplines put so many barriers or so many prohibitions on sexuality. Because if it's not channeled properly, it can wreak havoc because it's unbridled creativity. When it is channeled properly and effectively, you have literally a nuclear resource for change and achievement. So I hope that helps. I'm the Dynamite Disco Biscuits guy, Ryan Hunter. I have about 1 million questions for you. Well, I don't know if I have time for 1 million questions, Ryan, but I'm happy to answer what I can in the time that we have. I don't know how much longer I'm going to be able to stay on, but because the kids are going to be needing to go to bed soon and I got to tuck them in. But let's see here. Rashid Paul, if I have an NLP map, how do I know how it looks or find out how it looks? Thanks. Also love your Rashid. I don't understand your question. If you could ask me the question a little bit differently, I might be able to give you a better answer. So Hype says, any suggestion on how to start being more productive? Yes. Turn off your computer, turn off your internet, and work in a room with nothing else but the work you need to do. And be prepared for the withdrawal, because the minute you start getting that, you start losing that dopamine rush from working with your computers, you're going to get a little twitchy. Ion Rand says how to deal with people completely using NLP. Start with their criterion values, use their echo technique, 3 magic questions, an emotional bonding checklist, and you will find that more often than not, most of the problems you have with these people tend to go away. This is why I keep teaching these 3 things over and over and over again. You know, having the martial arts is saying basics are basics for a reason. And one of the reasons that these things are, I keep teaching these things over and over and over again is A, they're basic, they're easy, they're fast, and they work everywhere. They work for just about everything. And so you're just going to change up. Basically, the only modifications you would make is the order you present them in, or the order you utilize them in. But you almost always start with the echo technique. And then you'll either go into criterion values, you'll go into 3 magic questions, and you might even go to the resistance removal protocol, depending on where you're at, the context of your interaction, and what you're seeking to achieve. But those 4 techniques by themselves can pretty much allow you to write your own ticket anywhere you go. Let's see here. Let's see. How I draw? I think that question got cut off. Samudrika is asking how to heal emotional destruction done by mother, literary hate her, and it affects my life. Start with regress to cause. You'll probably wind up doing regress to cause, parts therapy, or chair therapy, and then start reframing the life lessons using magic frame and color breathing. Again, these are things that I would not, some of them you can probably do on your own. A lot of them you're probably going to need somebody to guide you through them. So I wouldn't even worry about buying a product at this point. Based on what you're telling me, you're probably going to be better served working with one of my trained associates to work through that stuff. So once again, for those of you who think you need help, 858-282-4663 is the fastest way to get on our consultation schedule. You may not work with me directly, but you'll work with somebody trained and vetted by me. So that's the best advice I can give you on some of these more intricate issues. Especially if you have little, to no experience in some of this stuff. Crick Zolly says, "Are you coming to Florida?" Yes, I am. I'm coming to Florida twice. I will be in Florida July 13th through the 21st, and then again in September 23rd through the 26th. And the September dates are an actual training I'm doing with Chase Hughes on influence and persuasion. Shashikala is asking, is there any technique to literally hack creativity? Yes, magic frame, color breathing, and variations of color breathing will help you with that. Let's see here. Ahmad Sandoval says, overlearn your techniques. Yes. Her is asking, to get past the first layer, where can we find study groups? Well, you can go to the NLP Power Mastermind Mentoring Program, and you can get involved with that. You can go to 858-282-4663 or reach out to Stephanie at nlppower.com and ask about that program. There are a few study groups out there that are run by my students. I don't have the names of those off the top of my head. You could reach out to some of those people as well. Let's see here. What if we came to Solana Beach? Right now, I'm not seeing clients. All my associates are seeing clients. My training schedule and production schedule has been ridiculously busy. So you're better off seeing one of our people virtually. We do have people here in Solana Beach, obviously, that can see clients. But right now, we're just recovering from COVID restrictions, so we haven't started allowing in-person sessions yet. Serial Quiller says, what are some Darth Snyder stories? You allude to them, but I never heard any of them. I tell those when the cameras are off, my friend, and the camera is definitely not off right now. So I apologize for that. Alex P, I used the interview crush technique and had an interview. This will be the 3rd promotion in under a year. No word back yet. Find out this week, nervous, waiting. So this is you've used the interview crusher technique. This is your third promotion in a year. I think that speaks for itself, does it not, Alex? Well done. Samudrika says, can we change our personality completely and consciously? Yes and no. You have to first understand what your personality actually is and what it is not, and then decide who you want to be instead. And then you need to actually go into trance and rehearse these new behaviors. So the integration or the transformation of personality is a combined process. It's a conscious and unconscious process, but it starts with a decision and an evaluation of who you are versus who you want to be instead. Lots of ways to accelerate that, but that's what it's gonna come down to. Shashikala is saying, thanks for answering. Can you do a case study of Eminem like he is literally a creative legend? Can I do a case study? Not right now. EV Star Music. Hi, Dr. Snyder. How do I deal with a work environment that's hostile? I put up with physical as well as tons of emotional abuse, specifically when there's no one to turn to for help. So Evie, first and foremost, if you are the victim of physical abuse, you need to get authorities involved that can actually step in and make a change. No job is worth being physically abused. You need to decide that you deserve better, that you're not going to tolerate it, and you need to do something about it. Now, if you want the job and it's worth fighting for, then you need to escalate and push back. That's never going to be easy. It's never going to be fun. It's never going to be pleasant, but it is necessary. You know, there's an old saying that said, and I forget who was, I don't know whether it was Buddha, Winston Churchill, or Kennedy. I could be completely wrong on all three of those, who said, all that's necessary for evil to triumph is that good people do nothing. And so if you decide not to push back, if you decide not to stand your ground, you're actually being complicit in the abuse. You're allowing it to happen when you know there's something you could do. So I know that's a little bit harsh, perhaps, but at the end of the day, it's the willingness to fight for yourself that defines how you feel about yourself. It doesn't actually even matter sometimes whether you fight and you fail, or you fight and you lose, or you fight and you win. It's the fact that you stood up for yourself that matters, ultimately. And there's certain psychological studies that actually show that, especially where rape victims are concerned. So first and foremost, you can control your states. We can show you how to do that. You might want to learn some physical techniques for protecting yourself. I highly recommend that. You have to make a decision that you deserve better and are willing to fight for that right, to maintain your boundaries. And you need to be willing to reach out to the people or the resources that can support you in those efforts. Okay, certainly we have techniques here for helping you in some of those areas. Other ways, you're going to have to reach out to other people. But at the end of the day, it's going to come down to a decision. What are you willing to tolerate? What are you not willing to tolerate? And what are you willing to do to make sure this stuff never happens again, right? A lot of the people that I talk to who have suffered from bullying and abuse, it's not a one-time thing. There's a pattern of allowing certain types of people into our lives that habitually abuse us or bully us, okay? And that's on us, unfortunately, because we have a template inside of us that it was installed at a time where we didn't know any better that allows these people entry into our world. So we can go in and we can start to clean up those templates. We can start to reprogram habits that allow us to be more willing to stand our ground, but we have to support that with physical actions in the outside world. You know, we need to build a support system around us that says it's okay to push back, it's okay to fight in ways that are appropriate. And I think that's where you start, right? You know, one of my more colorful mentors used to say, if you walk around looking like a bologna sandwich, don't be surprised if somebody tries to take a bite out of you, right? So again, a little bit of tough love maybe, but we're here for you. But at the same time, you've got to be there for yourself, because at the end of the day, you're the only one who can. And you've got to be willing to say, hey, I need help, and go to those resources that can actually help you and stick to the fight. And I really believe that that's how it needs to be. There's probably some other instructor, some other coach or guru might have a different answer for you. But that's kind of where I see it right now. Let's see here. Samudrika says, what is magic frame and color breathing? If you go to our YouTube channel, you type in magic frame, you try like YouTube videos like how to reprogram your subconscious mind, change your, clear your energy, and how to get rid of negative emotions. You'll be introduced very, very deeply into those techniques, and you can learn them for free online. Let's see here. Alessandra says, thanks, David. Really appreciate everything you do. Are you planning on rescheduling the Mike Mandel event? Yes, we're working very hard to reschedule that event. It's been hard because of Canada keeping their borders closed. But we are, as soon as the borders are open and we can reschedule that event, be rest assured, we'll be heading to Toronto with bells on. Mike's a good friend of mine. We've always supported each other, have tremendous respect for him. Every time he opens his mouth, I learn something. So I'm excited to hang out with all of our Toronto brothers and sisters. Let's see here. Alex P says, David, thank you for that. So Evie says, put simply, how do I let go of the anger and resentment of it all and rise above it with class and style and tons of experience? Stay control, magic frame, gray room, pillars of power, and color breathing and spinning. Those are going to be your big ones. Use those consistently, and you'll find that you'll gain a lot more self-control and a willingness and ability to stand up for yourself. Once again, reach out to one of our associates for help for some of these things, okay? Again, this is not the time to engage in pride. If there's something you don't know how to do, if you're a fledgling to some of the technologies that we're teaching, pick up the phone, send us an email, and let us help you. Let us guide you and point you in the direction of where to go. Maybe to us, and maybe to other resources that we think are a better fit. But we're not going to bullshit you. We're going to tell you what we think is going to be the most helpful direction for you to go, and we'll support you in whatever way is possible for us to do that within reason. So I hope that helps. Mihar says, can you speak to use in some heavy 21 powerful words to KI or into gear? I'm not sure I understood what you want. I'm not sure. Okay, I think he's saying, can you speak to us in some heavy 21 most powerful words to kick our asses into gear? Yes, I can, in fact. And I might do that, but not when you're expecting it. Okay, let's see here. Rashred Paul, okay, we have 5 sensory systems to form a map of our world and the way we see things. How can I find my unconscious map to change my life, like my beliefs and my values? Point to where you, first of all, state what it is you want to access. Notice the body feeling, point to where you feel it, reach out and touch it, start manipulating that primary encoding system to be something else. In fact, if you go to, I think there's a video on our YouTube channel about how to change beliefs. You're going to find a system of NLP submodality interventions, which clearly explains how to recode one value to another value. And so that's what I would use if you're working on your own. Okay. Let's see here. Tony and Asia's mom. Is there a way to self-motivate to work out and exercise harder? Yes. Use the emotional bonding checklist and the procrastination blaster. Combine that. Actually, for Tony and Asia's mom. Tony and Asia's mom. These are the techniques you want to use. A, emotional bonding checklist. You want to use the procrastination blaster. Resistance removal protocol. And then finally use color breathing. Circulate between those 4 techniques. I think you'll find you get extremely motivated very, very quickly, and you'll lose a lot of that resistance to moving forward. So let's see. And Mihir says, our feathers haven't plumed, we're stupid. What? Your feathers haven't bloomed, you're stupid. What does that mean? Sherry says, I love watching Newsmax for real news. Have no idea what that's about. Let's see here. Oh, there's a whole lot of questions I didn't see. Mihir says, we need to have some experience in our environments to really get traction away from these types of worlds. Okay. We can't help looking like a bologna sandwich if that's all we know. That's true. That's why it helps to find role models. We call them avatars or exemplars in NLP. People that you can model and take on their personality traits using the identity by design silo. That's why we created it. We need a community. We have a community. You just need to join up. Right? Gabe H said, I just heard that comment from your production product, Weapons of Social Seduction. Oh, okay. The bologna sandwich comment, I'm assuming, right, Gabe? Emir says, and I believe in you, David, very much. Well, thank you. I believe in you, me. That sounded amazing, like an NLP statement. Jamie Nicolosi, hi, David. Just curious, where do you go to easily book the training with Chase Hughes? Go here while the early bird still lasts. http://www.nlppower.com/SHI, I think is what it is. Go there and see if the page comes up and let me know if it doesn't. Okay, Jamie? And let people know about it because we're going to fill up fast. Mihir says, you're one of my heroes. Well, thank you. That's so nice of you. Mies asks, does your wife do any groups like that? No, my wife likes to keep a low profile. She's not the attention whore that I am. Our feathers haven't plumed, we're stupid. No, I don't think you're stupid. I don't think anybody who finds this channel and stays around on it is stupid. I think the people who find this channel are looking for an advantage. They're looking to solve a problem and become more of who they want to be instead of who the world conspired to make them, right? Your parents can't teach you what they don't know, so you need to go somewhere else to learn them. And I like to think that our particular community is a place where you can come for solutions, right? When nobody else has them, when everybody out there is telling you what to do but not how, we provide the how. And we do give things out, better things out for free here on Planet David and the Transformational Superhighway than most people charge for. But they're pieces of systems that we've created designed to help you to continue your growth. And so please take all the free materials, go out into the world, prove the worth of the technology yourself. When you're ready for more, you know where to find us, right? But we like to be the people that actually give you the how, not just the what. And I hope you're experiencing that from us. I really do. Let's see here. Serial Quiller says, not sure if you have or not already, but is there a recommended reading list? There is a huge reading list. Unfortunately, I don't have a link. Let me see if I have a link to it. I may not, because it may be in one of the Facebook groups that I don't exactly know where it's at. So it's actually probably better for you guys to tell me what you want to know about, and I will recommend some books to you. Sweetie, you can't use the TV right now because I'm doing a YouTube live.
What if it doesn't make any sound?
If there's no sound, then you can use it. But right now I'm talking. Okay.
All right.
If you guys email me directly, I'll see about posting that reading list for you. Where to start Valerie Nelson's asking, where do you start to become part of this community? Well, you're here. You could, of course, join one of our member levels. We have a gold level, a platinum level, and a diamond level here on YouTube. You can also join the NLP Power Mastermind Mentoring Program. That's a paid group as well. If you want to join the mentoring program, which is the hands-on piece of what we do, you want to give Stephanie a call at 858-282-4663 or email directly at stephanie@nlppower.com. If you want to just become more active in our YouTube channel, then you can go to the community tab, and you can join either the gold, the platinum, or the diamond level. I recommend the platinum and above, but you choose what level of interaction and exclusive content you want access to, and we can help you with that. Let's see here. Evie Star Music says, I would sincerely love to interview you and pick your brain. You've changed my life for the better in many ways. You are genuine and real and extremely interesting. Well, thank you, Evie. And again, if you have a podcast or something, give my office a call. And if you're, again, a lot of the time that we allocate to podcasts now is based on audience size, but I'm more than happy to be interviewed if that's something that you have people who want to participate or would gain value from the things that I have to say. Toonba Q says, good morning from Myanmar. Good morning, Myanmar. Rocco, I'm going to come to Hypnothoughts Live. Very excited. Rocco, I'm glad you're going to be there. It's going to be fun. Hypnothoughts Live is going to be an 11-day hypnosis extravaganza. I am going to be teaching for 11 straight days. For those of you who are interested in learning about all the things I'm going to be teaching, I want you to go to http://www.nlppower.com/2021HTL241. Please click that link and let me know if the link works so it's right. We're doing a great suit. Again, if you want to spend 11 full days partying with me, learning the coolest in face reading, hypnosis, attraction techniques, law of attraction techniques, I'm putting it all. It's going to be a David buffet that whole 11 days. So, and I spend a lot of time with my personal students. You guys here, I always let you guys, I always find ways for us to go to dinner and go to do things that are not just in the seminar room, but actually part of community building that I think is so important. So if you guys want some private time with me or personal time with me, you might want to come out to Vegas for 11 days and actually burn off some of that COVID-induced steam that has been building up inside of us, right? Let's see here. Fly Girls Manifesting said, that's why I'm here. Yes. Me, her. Wow, that felt so consoling to hear like the real lifts piece of the heavy metal. Yeah. Well, that's my job, right? My job is to show you what's possible and give you the techniques to relieve as much of the suffering that you're going through as possible. But to do that, I have to walk the talk, right? I'm a product of the technologies that I teach, and I want each and every one of you to take what you learn from us and make your life everything that you want it to be. That's always been my goal. That's always been my outcome. People often ridicule me for giving so much away, for sharing so much for free. But I think in an industry, in a set of industries where there's so much snake oil and so much promises with little delivery, I think it's nice once in a while to be able to actually test drive something before you jump fully into it, right? That's just how I look at it. Althea Linear says it worked. Excellent. Valerie Nelson, I click on community here. This page, there are no links. Different channel. No, let me see if I can find the link for you really quick. I hesitate whenever I have to go looking for links because I don't think people log on just to see my face staring off at a screen and not delivering any value or any content. So let me see if I can find a link so that you guys can join the community page. Use this one. If you click on that link, it should allow you to pick your diamond, platinum, or gold membership. Like I said, I recommend the platinum or diamond membership. If you want hands-on, like personal feedback from me, where you get to interact with other members and practice hands-on, get the diamond level. If you just want to ask me questions and have me answer kind of like I'm doing now, but in a private setting with a smaller group, then do the platinum level. If you just want to watch videos that other people can't watch, do the gold level. Most people really, really love the diamond level. So I recommend that you do that. I am going to probably limit membership to that because last one we had was like 40 plus members in there. And I had to actually rely on my Identity by Design trainees and certified practitioners to help me make sure everybody got the personal attention that they needed. People loved it, but I either have to raise the price of that or I have to actually limit the number of people who can participate. So But right now we haven't done that yet. So if you want to give it a shot, click on the platinum or the diamond link specifically, and try it for a couple of months and see if it's something that works for you. If it works, stay. If it doesn't, downgrade your membership to the platinum or the gold or whatever works for you. Okay. But use this link right here to do that. Grim Shepherd question says, what would you consider a good snake oil litmus test? A, does the person make a lot of promises, tell you a lot of stories, but not tell you how to do it? Right? What I find more often than not is that when people are pitching stuff, they're going to tell you about what they've done. They're going to tell you what their students have done, but they won't give you the how. Right? And if they do give you the how, it's going to be something that's so complex you can't do it yourself. And we try to shorten that learning curve, because my belief is if it's not simple, you're not going to do it. If it's not fun, you're not going to do it. So those would be things that I would test first and foremost. And you can apply that to me. If I teach you something online or through one of my videos and it doesn't work for you, then it's technically snake oil. You need to move on to something that works for you, right? But the nice thing about the technologies that we teach is you don't need to believe it for it to work. You just got to do it. We try very, very hard to distill the majority of what we allow out to the public to be based on pure mechanics. In other words, your belief system isn't a big factor in it. You just got to do the steps with absorption and focus, and you will more often than not get the result. If you're not getting the result, it's usually a problem with absorption and focus. And if one of us guides you through it, you'll probably get a better result. So those are the things that I would apply. Mihir says, how much is it to get certified? Me, it depends on what you want to get certified in. If you're looking for a certification, I recommend you give us a call at 858-282-4663 or email Stephanie at nlppower.com and let us know what you want to know, what you want to be able to do. We'll give you the shortest amount of products or trainings to attend to get certified. You cannot get certified through a product. Most of our products are actually recordings of certifications that we've done, but we really, really believe in Planet David that if you want to be the best practitioner humanly possible, come to the live events. And so we've built the core of our training around live events. Now we've developed products and product packages that are as close as we can get to fulfilling the needs that are fulfilled in a live event. Our packages are awesome. They're loaded with tons of information and things that round out the training. And they're great in conjunction with the live event, which is why so often we package a live event with these bonuses. But if you can't get to a live event, the packages are the best way to go, right? Let's see here. Tunba Q is asking, regarding emotional lines and face reading, is there a tip to read it, or is it just a matter of practice? Because currently it's pretty awkward to lock on a person's face without them getting angry. Well, again, Tunba, you've got to set up the context and decide when it's appropriate to read somebody's face. If you set a context, you set a frame around why you're reading somebody's face, then they're more often than not going to allow you to do it. And if you do it with the proper frame, they'll be hanging on your every word. If you just stare at somebody like a serial killer, then they're going to feel very offended, because that's actually a sign of aggression. So again, be very, very careful how you go about reading people's faces. If you're just staring at somebody, people are going to get very, very creeped out. They're going to get very, very nervous. They may get very defensive, and as a result become aggressive. So you always want, if you're going to read somebody's face, you want to do it in a way that you're not going to be observed directly, and or you need to set a context that allows you to interact with those people where it's natural and normal and comfortable for you to talk about markings on their face. And again, in face reading level 1 and 2, we go into that in explicit detail. So if you haven't got the course already, I recommend you pick it up. Let's see here. Rocco, hey David, I'm actually coming to San Diego on 21st of June through the 28th of June. I want to book an appointment if you do one-on-ones. Unfortunately, Rocco, I will be in Florida on the 21st, and I won't be getting back until sometime around the 22nd. We are not currently accepting in-person sessions, but if you want to book a session online with one of our consultants, call 858-282-4663. You can call our clinic at 481-1438 and set up an appointment with TJ or one of my other trained associates like Zach Easter or Bernie Dietrich is an excellent practitioner. Highly recommend that you reach out to them or reach out to us and we'll put you in contact with them. Renato, nowadays, is there a clear limit to what is possible to change in the physical body through NLP hypnosis? Renato, if there is one, I haven't found it yet. My personal belief is that as long as the human body has the physical resources necessary, I think changing just about anything is only a matter of time. That's my personal belief. I can neither prove it nor disprove it, but that's what my life experience and my clinical experience has kind of shown me. Let's see here. Is a unicorn a good symbol according to Feng Shui? I don't know that the unicorn was the Chinese had a concept of a unicorn. They did have a concept of something called a qi ling or a unicorn or a qi rin, which is more like a unicorn horse hybrid or dragon hybrid, and those are considered to be good luck symbols. So I think it would really depend on the source, the Feng Shui source that you're going into. Girls, you need to go, if you're going to talk, you need to go out in the other room, okay? Let's see here. TG source. See, for me, it's just comes to human lie detector since my NDE. I can't unknow different every person. Okay, I don't understand that question, TG, but if you can rephrase it, I might be able to help you. Me, her, I need to go to the face reading in Vegas. Geez, be all starstruck and just probably stare slack giant. No, I think you'll be fine. Actually, the face reading class in Las Vegas, for those of you who really want to do a deep dive into face reading, is probably one of the better classes to go because I'm actually teaching my face reading level 1 course, my face reading level 2 course, my face reading level parts of face reading level 3, as well as therapeutic interventions. So not only do I teach you what to look for and how to understand and interpret facial markings, I also teach you what to do to resolve the emotional traumas connected to them. So it's very powerful, and it's the first all-in-one class we've ever taught, and it's part of the 11-day package that we're offering at the http://www.nlppower.com/2021 HTL 241. So if you want a full rundown of everything, go to that page, read the description, and if you like the link, click it. Let's see here. Let's see. FFS says it is according to the book by Lillian too. Yes, Lillian, the book that you want from my teacher Lillian Bridges is Face Reading. Face Reading and my typing is terrible. And Chinese Medicine by Lillian Bridges. I cannot recommend that book enough. There is so much information packed into that book. I've literally only scratched the surface with my face reading level 1 and 2. I just reorganized, and a lot of the information actually comes from her book. I've just reorganized it to be much more organized, much more systematic, and you don't need any background in Chinese medicine to use it. So a lot of people really like that because it focuses on personality, attitude, and temperament. And then from there, once you've got that down, you can start to transition into health and wellness. You can transform into emotional history and things of that nature, but it gives you an instant snapshot of the temperament and personality of the person that you're dealing with, so you know how to deal with them more effectively. Mujtabi says, Alam says, hey David, I hear you've been working with Chase Hughes recently. Can you talk about how his stuff has influenced your library of techniques? Chase's work is very scholarly. He was well funded in his research, and much of what he has spent, he had a budget of about $30 million when he was in the military to test a lot of things. I did the equivalent of dumpster diving. And what's interesting is how much of what his research budget has corroborated about what we've discovered about and in the material that went into our Killer Influence class. So there's a tremendous amount of crossover. There's also some crossover and very complementary work. I love his body language stuff. I love his approach to the neuroscience. His 6-minute X-ray is absolutely excellent in conjunction with our people reading for fun and profit systems. His systems are focused on what we call active profiling, which is calibrating body language and emotional fluctuation and deception in the moment. Whereas the face reading programs that we teach are what we call passive profiling. In other words, the consequence of a lifetime of emotional experiences as they've built up on the face and how they've marked the face is kind of where they kind of coincide. Our language pattern, our state control work, all those other things are extremely powerful and can add a tremendous new dimension to the behavioral influence material that Chase teaches. So Chase has been a longtime fan of mine. I didn't know that for many years. And then I went to one of his face reading masterclass and I found out just how big a fan. And turns out I was a fan of his, he was a fan of mine. And there's a synergy there between our systems. And so it's going to be, I don't know if we'll ever do it again, but I'm looking forward to picking his brain. He's looking forward to picking mine and seeing how our particular technologies and approach to influence people reading, things of that nature, match, how they complement one another, and how they're different, because I think there's value in both sides of that. So I hope that answers your question. I think there's a tremendous amount of value in what Chase teaches, and as well as what we teach. So let's see here. Unicorn is a symbol of unique success according to this book. I don't know what book you're referring to. Rocco, my friend invited me to stay with him for a week. I'm going to see the schedule and come by when David is there. Okay. What do you think about consciousness and we are expanding? I know a lot of us are, and I know that there's natural process. Can you explain more? Thank you. Laura, I'm not sure I understand the question, but if you can restate your question in a way that I can kind of process it, I'm happy to give you what answer I can. Let's see here. God Force One says, can clearing negative emotional blockages be done in the head through mental procedures? I'm going to say maybe. For sure, it can be cleared if you utilize the body as well as the mind. What I have found is when people are using purely cognitive techniques, it's the results are usually a lot lower if you're using purely cognitive process as opposed to integrative processes. So I'm going to say definite maybe. Certainly about 30% of the population can get very significant, very powerful change from a purely cognitive process, largely because about 30% of the population are natural somnambulists and anything will work. Sebastian says, hi, just found your channel, amazing stuff. Thank you, Sebastian. I'm glad you like it. Let's see here. Billion Doubloon says, that right there is great advice, Doc D. Thank you, Billion. Alex Corella says, unicorns can't exist because horses like to sniff each other. All right, then. That's a visual I didn't need, Alex. Thank you so much. Laura Fahey, David, can you explain to me why what really people were told? Okay, so hold on a second. My girls are playing with the lights. You guys, please need to be quiet. I'm trying to talk to my students, okay? All right, so let's talk about this. When we create our own reality, what we're really saying is that the universe that we experience is a construct. It's an interpretation and a projection and a reintegration of vibrational data, much like a cloud server takes information that's loaded and spreads it out. And when we ask for that information is pulled back. Our neurology is a lot like that. If you haven't seen, I'm trying to think of what video where I really expressed that. Go back to our mental, how to reprogram your subconscious mind. Webinars. Go out to our how to reprogram the subconscious mind webinars where I talk about the proprioceptive grid, the primary encoding system, things of that nature. And you'll start to get an understanding of the building blocks of how we create our own reality. That's probably the most precise and concise answer I can give you, Laura. Watch that webinar, follow the practices, and you'll start to understand how we've created our reality, how we've encoded it, how we go from a primary experience to a secondary experience, and how that creates the reality that we live in. So I hope that helps. Alejandro Guzman says, love your teachings. Thank you, Alejandro. Love you back. S Design says, do you take on private hypnosis group classes? I can. If you want a private group class, reach out to Stephanie at 858-282-4663, and she can help you set something up. EV Star Music, do you know if any studies have been done about the tone or pitch of people's voices, and if it may have any significance as to whom we are attracted to, get along with, as well as the opposite? I don't know of any studies off the top of my head that pertain directly to that. But one of the things I will tell you is that people with deep, resonant voices are selected more for one-night stands than people with high-pitched voices. I'm betting if you search on Journal of Abnormal Psychology, the Journal of American Medical Association, and type in tonality and attraction, or physical attraction, you will probably find some attractivity studies that corroborate those things. There's probably a lot more going on there, but that's kind of what I got right now. Jay Rose, Dr. Snyder, sometimes it's hard to maintain my frame in a nervous situation. I'm using posture and breathing techniques for state control. Is there something else I can do to make this bulletproof? Yeah, clean up your shit and run positive movies in your mind. Pick up a book called The Power of Bad. If you haven't heard me talk about this book, it's one of the newest additions to my reading list. And if you have our influence technologies or our how to reprogram your subconscious mind technologies, if you take the information in this book and integrate it into that work, you will find the power of what you're doing exponentially growing. Okay. Mujab Alam says, David, I think I asked you this a few months ago, but I forgot your answer. Which emotional axes are the best for using polarity drills with? I find certainty, uncertainty to be good. I find attractive versus attracted, or attractive versus repulsive to be good. Authoritative versus not authoritative to be very good. Those are the best ones, I think, for most influence. And of course, you go to your four basic driver states. Four basic driver states are curiosity, triumph, relentlessness, and playfulness. Laura Faye says, you're so true about the voices in the man yet of girl or girls or whatever. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Laura. Cole Diamond, what would be your top 5 books for Reiki and hypnotherapy? Thanks. For Reiki, Essential Reiki, by Diane Stein. The Reiki Handbook. I think that's by Sandra Nevius. I think. There's also one, I forget what the other was. In terms of hypnosis, I would get Hypnotherapy by Dave Ellman. And the handbook of hypnotic, hold on a second, let me read the title here. Handbook of Hypnotic Suggestions and Metaphor. Those would be probably the 2 best ones that I can recommend. Difference between, well, first of all, I haven't read The Power of Now, but if my understanding of Tolle's work is accurate, most of what Tolle is teaching about is mindfulness and being present. The power of bad is about negativity bias, which is a neurological predisposition to make bad things worse than they seem. Your nervous system is hardwired to make bad shit worse than good shit. In other words, if points of pain and pleasure are equal, your nervous system will generate 4 points of pain for every bad thing that happens, but it'll only generate 1 point of pleasure for every good thing that happens. So you need to understand this inherent neurological proclivity for negativity and realize it's just a default setting. It's not actually true. And once you understand that, you can work around it. And that's the big thing. Okay. So much of the problems that we believe we have is because the negative events in our life are actually expanded and exaggerated beyond what they actually are because of the way we've evolved. The moment we can make adjustments for that, we become much more fearless, we become much more resourceful, and we can begin to develop alternate systems for dealing with life. Mujiba says at Thomas Smith, I think it's by John Tierney and Roy Baumeister. That is correct. Mr. Snyder, cool shades. Thank you. Let's see here. Ashlyn says, interesting. Voila. Al-Shabil says, how I overcome heartbreak. I've been in a real mental funk. 3 things to do. Resistance removal, 4 things. Resistance removal protocol, spinning, magic frame, color breathing. Do those 4 things, you'll be amazed at what you can accomplish. Okay. Cole Diamond, awesome, man. Appreciate all the work you put out there. Thank you, Cole. I'm glad you appreciate it. I appreciate you appreciating us. Jamie says, just letting you know the link worked, David. Just purchased my seat. Thank you so much. Oh, Jamie, thank you so much. I'm glad we'll be seeing you. I'm excited. Thank you. That was the combined link, right? That was the Chase Hughes training, Jamie, or was that the HT Live training that you joined? The stream is for, I don't know. Cheddarman 1337 says, is that why some people are self-destructive? It can be, absolutely. Negativity bias is absolutely one of the primary drivers between so many of the neurotic pathologies that we encounter. Many of them drive us to suicide or to self-harm. So yeah, I would say it can definitely be a part of it. Not saying it is a part of it, but it can be. Mujaba Alam says, hey David, where can we learn the resistance removal protocol? Go to the YouTube channel and type in resistance removal. And the video should come up on the YouTube page. You can also get the Identity by Design course, or you can get Killer Influence and learn that, Chase Hughes. So for those of you who are wondering what link Jamie's talking about that she just signed up for, it's http://www.nlppower.com/SHI. You can read all about it. There's a little video there that explains what we're doing in September. Mujab says, thank you, David. Hold on a second. My girls are calling on me.
Can I have your electrolytes and where are they?
I am actually out of electrolytes, sweetie. So. Okay, hold on a second. I inadvertently muted myself. All right, let's see here. Mujaba says, this stream is for anyone who wants to learn about psychology, NLP, hypnosis, or self-development. Pretty much. If you want to get if there's something you want to achieve in your life, our goal is to help you get the tools to get there. Laura says, no, thank you. That resonates so well. Thank you. You're very welcome. Dave Sun says, how can I go about releasing built up muscular, I'm assuming tension in the neck and shoulders? Transformational trio, which is, again, color breathing, energy spinning, and magic frame. Those three things in combination will usually put a dent in just about anything. Michael H says, David, I'm curious if you study or follow other hypnotist work. Oh yeah, all the time. I'm always studying. I'm reading like 5 different books right now, and integrating things into what I do. I never stop, guys. I never stop. In fact, one of my students got so frustrated because every time they came to class, there was something new. There was always a new class. And the reason is because there are things that I want to achieve in my life that I haven't achieved yet. And I will not stop until I find a way to do it. And interestingly enough, what I have discovered through working with amazing people like yourselves is that many of the problems that I want to solve, other people want to solve too. And so I always find a way to solve my problem first. And then if it works for me, and then I share it with a few other people who have similar problems, and if it works for them, then I release it to the general public, because now we have a proven methodology for getting the results. At the end of the day, it's all about the result you produce. People are asking about how do you find the snake oil versus the real deal? The answer is, what result does it produce? At the end of the day, does the information you're being given leave you hungrier than you started and not able to do what you came to do? Or do you come away with a process that allows you to implement, that you can implement, that yields a product which leads you towards the result you want or gets you the result that you want? If the information that you're studying isn't doing that for you, you need to find a different source, right? Or take it to the next level. And again, I'm not going to point fingers. I'm not going to say this person is legit, this person isn't. Everybody, everything works for somebody. Nothing works for everybody. So you have to find your path. If what I do resonates with you, use it. If it doesn't, find somebody else who does. And that's basically, my belief on that, and what's behind the things that I do. Okay, you won't find it under transformational trio, Majaba. You need to type in things like how to get rid of negative emotions, how to reprogram your subconscious mind, how to clear your energy field. Those will give you a start. Anything that has secrets of personal transformation in it, in the title, should have one of those techniques in it. Laura Fahey says, thank you, you're awesome. Thank you you're very welcome, Laura. B. Rowe, is the magic frame more efficient by focusing on one issue at a time, or can I do general issues such as insecurity or others? I would recommend you be specific with it. There are other techniques that are designed for general clearing. The reason we call a magic frame a specific negativity clearing technique is because it's designed to drill down on the inner reasons for holding on to a particular issue. So I would use like universal solvent, safe place, or gray room, or generic or multiple batch clearing type processes. Phoebe John Ray says, thank you for never stopping. You are most welcome, my friend. Serial Quiller says, do you know when you will be doing another hypnotherapy certification class? I was going to fly down to Vegas, but COVID shut down the border. Yes, look for a class end of August, beginning of September. Let me see if I have dates for that. I have a regression hypnosis training scheduled for September 7th through the 11th. You need to have identity by design as a prerequisite for that. If you've had identity by design, then come in. If you have other hypnosis training, reach out to me personally and we'll vet you. If you can do If your skill level is where we need it to be, then we can let you into regression. But other than that, you need to take identity by design first. Okay. Zekazan-san says, what is the best way to change your identity? And thank you for that stream. You're welcome. The best way is start with identity by design. If you come to the training with Chase Hughes and I in September, Chase will be discussing brainwashing technique, what I call therapeutic brainwashing techniques. These are decidedly black hat techniques that are being used for positive change. I don't know. I don't know how much of that he'll show, but you'll be able to find out about it for sure. Let's see. Craig Zoli says, oh my God, it is so true. Negativity with this codependency are my problem. Yep. Okay. Jeff Berkowitz says, what techniques can you use for healing, specifically cell growth? I would use direct drive hypnosis. Guided imagery. That's probably the best. There's actually a couple of books out there on using these processes. There's a course called Intended Evolution, which is a Qigong course that is basically energized hypnosis. And a lot of those techniques use cellular visualization. If you just type in Intended Evolution in your browser, you should be able to find it. I've gone through 2 or 3 of the videos so far, and they've been very, very informative in terms of how things work. I believe there's also a book called Intended Evolution as well. Subash has asked, can you point out other people other than you who may help in getting the things we want? Well, I think that really, who I point out really depends on what you want, Subash. Tell me what you want, I'll point you in the direction. What is the best way to influence someone energetically remotely? Usually at night while they're asleep, using specific remote influence techniques. If you come to vibrational influence or vibrational healing, we'll actually teach you those techniques. Billion Doubloon says, really appreciate you coming on this night and sharing great conversation and insights on your Saturday night. Very giving, brah. Mahalis. Thank you, sir. I'm not familiar with Redbox at all, so you may have taught me something. Here's just, can we all do a little dance party before we close? Just everyone wiggle around a bit and get us all playful. Well, we wouldn't be able to see them because we're not on Zoom. 111, hit the room, smash that like button, hit that like button. Well, thank you. Yeah, if you guys like what we're doing, please like and share the video. Again, let's grow the channel. Let's build Planet David. Let's go ahead and when are your series of books coming out? I'm still working on those. I find it's hard for me to write a book, not because I can't, but because I'm someone who's very, very big on the best use of my time. And when you look at the amount of time it takes to write a book versus the amount of time it takes to do a 3-day class, record it and put it out, versus a return on the investment, the books never win. But I realize how important books are to people, and so we do have books planned. I just don't know when they'll be out, but they will come out at some point. Any recommendations for getting rid of warts that have not responded to Western medicine? Hypnosis is really good. Many forms of energy healing are good. Hypnosis, I think, is probably going to be one of your best. Jeff Berkowitz, do you believe a big portion of law of attraction is letting go? I've read constant obsession creates resistance. Yes, I believe that. In the old Hermetic practices, in the old OTO and Golden Dawn principles, there was a concept commonly referred to as the lust for results, which is an over clinginess to an over attachment to getting the result, which actually hinders the manifestation process. So I absolutely believe that. Cheddarman says, 137 says, thank you for your time. You're quite informative and kind. Laura Fahey says, that's a good one, how to clear your energy field. Mujaba says that Laura Fahey, no joke, I think David is the best law of attraction teacher out there. Hidden Laws of Attraction is one of the best. Thank you, Mujab. Jamie says, just curious, how does the super surprise mystery bonus work? Well, Jamie, when you get to the training, I will tell you what your super surprise mystery bonus is, or I will email you separately, because if I let you know what that is on the live, then it won't be a surprise anymore, and everybody will know what it is, right? Needless to say, it's something of high value that will take the learning that you get from that training and amplify it even more. Toonbach Q says, books, a legacy for your generations to come. Point taken. Point taken. David, what about hiring an in-depth editor to work on a transcript of an in-depth course and use that as I've tried that a couple of times. It hasn't worked out the way I wanted it to. Renata, rewiring the nervous system, plastic concept through sexual pleasure is only available for women as they are multi-orgasmic. I've read that men can be multi-orgasmic, but no, they can be multi-orgasmic. They just have to train for it. I'm multi-orgasmic. So Mujaba says at Renato, yes, men can be multi-orgasmic, but you don't need to be multi-orgasmic to rewire nervous system. The reason that we talk about orgasm so much, just to clarify, is because it's the single biggest releaser of oxytocin in the body. If you can, we call it oxytocin loading. If you can get the system to produce a huge amount of oxytocin in a short amount of time, then you don't need the orgasm. So hugging will do it, humor will do it. Eating large quantities of foods high in oxytocin will do it. Preferably you do all of them, and then you do your training or your mental programming. Right? Mirror says, do we get those tickets before the end of the session? Yes, you do. Sarah asks, any advice for finding your purpose? Yes. There's a process we teach called Golden Path. I recommend that the next time we have that course, you jump into it. In the meantime, jump onto one of our face reading webinars where we talk about Golden Path and how to read the face and unlocking traits, techniques, talents, and attributes. And I think you'll find that you'll get moving on your path very, very quickly. Let's see here. Mujaba says, also never use the $1 million point technique. I have no idea what that is. Okay, Oki O says, hi David, I have always the question about combining other practices like fasting to enhance energy healing. What are your comments on other disciplines to enhance NLP? I think you need to test it. I combine so much with NLP because NLP was designed to be combined with other things. It was designed to elicit what works and to find the best approach to getting a result no matter what. So I think with everything, you need to test it, okay? Alex Trella says, what's the best way to deal with Cinderella's 3 evil sisters? Realize they're there and ignore them. Ashlyn says November, December. We're still working out the final events calendar for November and December. We'll post that on the website if you want to know more about that. Michael H. asks, David, do you use crystals for enhancing your vibration? Yes, but not the way most people do it. Okay. Certain crystals have a certain resonant frequency range that have connected to it certain attributes. And so some people like to use crystals as an energy source that they channel through themselves, or they add their own energy to it to push a certain frequency. I use energy or crystals as a tuning device to tap into a certain archetypal frequency range. And then I gain rapport with that frequency range so I can absorb those attributes into myself. And then I use it for whatever I'm going to use it for. Subash says, best way to rid of any illness, point to where you feel it, unpack it, and spin it out of your body, magic frame it, or color breathe it. Okay. Okio says, David, do you offer mentorship? I offer group mentoring at NLP Power, the NLP Power Mastermind Mentoring Program. You can also join our diamond level membership here on the channel. Here's the link to that. And you can join in our mastermind mentoring sessions on the third Saturday of every month. Sarah asks one more question. What's the best way to get into the state for astral travel via meditation or sleep, breathing techniques, etc.? Also, thank you. I think there's a combination for that. I have in my library, in my past trainings, I have been given protocols for astral projection. I do not practice consciously or train astral projection. So I think at the end of the day, the best results are going to be unique to you. But I think that you need to integrate hypnosis as well as sleep programming and meditations into that work. So that's just my take on it. Like I said, I am not a practicing astral projector, so I can't give you any more advice beyond that. Let's see. Mujaba says, getting rapport with a frequency range. Is this a spin-off of the Hermetic concept of getting rapport with an element? Yes. Daniel Thabeau asks, curious, little eyes watching dad do what dad does best. If she's just as smart or smarter, David, you're the perfect mentor and friend, just being positive. Thank you, Daniel. Vino, it's crazy looking at your content because people are just now talking about what you've been saying for years. Yes. That's kind of one of the caveats of hanging out in Planet David is that we tend to come out with stuff that's a little bit ahead of the curve, and people's initial response is to call bullshit, and then 5, 6, 7, 10 years later they say, oh my God, David was right. I've run into that. This was actually a big problem for me early in my career, and then I just stopped caring. But yeah, thank you for that though, Pino. Thank you. Michael says, David, thank you. Awesome chat. Thank you, Michael. Sarah says, would your free hypnosis course be a good start? Absolutely. Once again, before you jump into any of our paid programs or mentorships or whatever, consume as much of the free content on the channel as you want. If it's delivering value, if you're getting things you can use, then you can feel comfortable jumping into the next level. If it's not delivering value for you at the free level, why would you invest? Right? But if you do get value from it, and it's giving you results, it's moving you in the direction you want to go, then why would you not? Right? Prove this stuff to yourself. Before you jump into a program, prove it to yourself first. Okay? And give us a chance to help you at whatever level you're comfortable with. Sarah says, you changed my view on reality when you talked about changing holograms with holograms. Boom. Very good. Excellent. Sam Tucker, for Hermetics, what is the best book? Franz Barden's Initiation into Hermetics has been repeatedly recommended. It's the best book I've found. It's a little dense. For some of us, it's going to be harder to penetrate than others. You've seen the things I can do. A lot of it comes as a result of the things I've learned from that book and found practices for in other disciplines, and I've still scratched a tenth of it. So, yes, I'm going to say use Barden's work and everything else I recommend in our reading list as supplements. Let's see here. George Stevens says, I have a marking on my forehead which indicates antagonistic traits inherited from parents. Could you please tell me how I can balance this? I don't want to spend my whole life trying to balance them. George, that would take a little bit more interaction than I can give you on this particular process. But if you jump into one of our classes, I can take a look at your face and ask you a few questions. Golden Path would probably be a really good class for you to kind of unpack those and work on them. Let's see. Tibetan dream yoga, astral projection is very advanced, but there are techniques to make it easier. Great suggestions, David, to combine meditation, sleep programming, and hypnosis. Yes. Martine, thank you for all the information you give us. You are very generous. Martine, you are very welcome. And with that, I think it's time for me to jump off and get my kids ready for bed. And I want to thank you all for spending time. If you had a good time, please like and share. Post good things. If I did not answer your question, go back to the comments section for this video, type in your questions, and I'll come back and read them, and I will offer questions. Thank you all so much. I love you all. Good night and God bless. Take care.